Well, this is just great. This is the current state of my garden. Do you see any vegetables? I don't either. I just see a bunch of overgrown things. I mean, it's very green. Oh, tomato. Grass, grass, grass. Hi everyone, or welcome back. In today's video, I wanted to share a problem that I'm having, which I have a feeling might be a common problem with some of you as well, which is that the garden is really overgrown. It's this kind of transitional time of year where we're coming up on the end of spring. By the time this video comes out, it'll be close to the beginning of summer. Recently, my family and I took a trip to Arizona, which is my home state, to go to a family wedding. We had a great time, and then we came back to a literal jungle. Everything is just wild and really overgrown. The grass is super long, and it's just a time of year where we are getting tons of rain, which has sort of the twofold problem of not only causing things to grow really, really fast, but also it kind of limits the time that we spend out there to some degree. I mean, I'll still go out there in the rain, but not if it's pouring. And it's easy to have that feeling of, I guess, like overwhelm, or just like, why bother? You know, I'm just gonna let it go this year. We'll start again next year. And I realized, because I share these feelings too from time to time, that this time of year kind of brings on those feelings, at least for me. And if you are willing to push past it because you really want to grow your own food or grow your own herbs for medicine, whatever it is, then it is worth it. But this is what I'm doing in order to get past this sort of difficult period. And I know that from doing this several years that there is a summer harvest to look forward to. My cilantro is bolting already. I wasn't expecting that, but I wish I would have used more of it before it went to seed. It's alright, I'm still going to try to use it. Let's see here. This is my bay leaf, and I've got a bunch of little random plants in here that I don't necessarily want, so you know, just gotta rip them out. I just leave them in as mulch. First step is I need a general plan of how I'm going to tackle this issue. Working with like small snippets of time. It might be like 5 minutes here, an hour here, and so I'm just working with what I have. Like, now that I feel like time is more precious, I really value it more, and I swear I can get more done in 2 minutes than I ever thought that I would. For those of you with small children, my son's at an age where he still can't be left unattended, but as long as he's like within an area where I could grab him if I needed to, and I can sort of see what's going on, then I do feel comfortable with him being near me, but not necessarily like right under me. And so luckily there's several different areas around our house that he likes to play in. So I just follow his lead, and wherever he wants to be, I just kind of might pull up some weeds or just throw in some seeds or whatever I can do. And part of this drives me a little nuts because I can't finish an area or section necessarily at one time. I kind of might have to come back to it, but I am able to multitask in that way. The other thing I find really helpful is sometimes when I'm just looking at my jungle garden and I feel very stressed out about it, I will just do the next right thing, as the saying goes. Just do the next right thing. So if I think about it too much, I'm just like, this seems like too monumental of a task. What do they also say, like, how to eat an elephant, like one bite at a time? Well, I just try now to prioritize the thing that needs to be done the most and just start with that. And I don't focus on anything else. I don't worry about like, oh yeah, there's actually 17 things that need to be done. It's just the one thing. And once I finish the one thing, then I move on to the next thing. And for me, this is a really great way to tackle an issue. Letting go has also been a big thing for me. I knew that this would be a very busy time where I don't have as much time as usual to devote to gardening. So the garden might not look the way that I want it to look. I mean, I was realistic. I knew that my garden would never look like a perfectly manicured garden. However, even when I normally garden, I have the pathways mulched and, you know, things look nicer. And I just understand that it might not look that way for a couple of years or so. So just lowering my expectations, but I'm still trying my best. So when I can get out there, I do. I work as hard as I can, and I have just learned to accept whatever results come my way. So right before we went on vacation, I replanted some pepper seedlings, and I just kind of put the seeds in, gave them some water, and threw a piece of plastic wrap on it loosely. I actually, as I was filming this video just now, I was looking up and I totally forgotten about them. And I would say, let's see, only one of the cells germinated. I don't know why. Maybe some of my seeds are old for the other kind, but I do have a couple of seedlings. They're a little scrawny. They're straining towards the light, and I need to get them into a pot, but that's something that I'm going to do. Normally, I have like a calendar of when I'm seeding certain things and when I'm planting them outside, and I am trying to follow that in a general way, but I'm really just trying to, like, I don't know, it's more spur of the moment. Like, oh, that needs to go in a pot. Like, oh, that's overgrowing its pot. It's going to be root bound. I got to get it into the ground. Along the same line, I've learned to be more flexible. So today's a good example. I thought I was going to have like an hour of time just by myself to go outside and get some things done in the garden. And I got about half an hour in, and then my son came along and wanted to help me. And I think it's so endearing. It's a really sweet quality that he loves to help. So it's something that I want to nurture. So I didn't say no, but at the same time, he's still too young for his help to really save me any time or energy. In fact, usually it requires more. So he was helping me put a tomato seedling in the ground. It ended up being like just a fistfuls of dirt being thrown everywhere, and it was fun to watch him, and he is learning and being exposed to skills, so I'm happy to stop to do it. But I didn't get as much done as I thought. But within the span of an hour, I was still able to get a few tomato plants in the ground. I got my kale in the ground too, and did some weeding.
I don't know if you can tell, but here's another tomato that I put in today. Random potato that started sprouting. That must have been left over from another year. Thank you very much.
The other thing that really helps me too is to just focus on one area. So it is not realistic for me to expect that I'm going to get, like, have a goal of weeding my entire garden right now. But I can focus on, for example, the tomato I recently planted. I can weed around there to make sure that the sun's getting through and that, you know, the weeds aren't going to suppress my tiny tomato seedling. So just making sure that I concentrate all my effort into one area as opposed to sort of scattering myself around and not being effective in any one area. Understanding that some plants I've just had to let go. Like I seeded some basil, it didn't really work out. I'm pretty sure I put new seeds in because I bought some. I can't even remember. I still don't have any basil seedlings. I have a lot of Thai basil, but not the regulars. I have some echinacea that something keeps eating, and I get really excited because I see like the flower heads starting to form and something comes along and eats it. I'm hoping that I will get echinacea flowers, but I don't know, you know? And the final thing that really helps me during this time of year is to focus on the positive. So as I alluded to before, I try to keep my eye on the prize, which is those beautiful summer harvests. I can also see, well, we've already gotten some rhubarb and some wonderful strawberries. And, you know, those are just examples of some things that have already come up from the garden. Also, I know that the blackberries are coming on and the gooseberries are coming on. So just taking a walk through the garden to kind of remind myself of why I'm doing this, why I'm putting so much effort into it, knowing that if we can get through this rough patch and just focus on the things that are most important to us, then we will have that beautiful reward.
Let's assess the damage together, shall we?
This is the southern border of my garden, and as you can see, all this overgrowth is really blocking the southern sun, which a lot of my crops need to survive.
So I've just got to go in there and rip these out. So this is truly wild. When we came back, we've gotten a really great asparagus crop this year. And for those of you that have grown asparagus, you know how fast it grows. Well, this is maybe one of the most giant stalks of asparagus I have seen. And this is only part of it because it was edible at the top, but now this part is really woody and fibrous. But I wanted to show you, and I wanted to show you in this video. I hope it will do it justice to show you some scale of like, I've just never seen an asparagus stalk so gargantuan. Crazy. Ladies and gentlemen, this is my beautiful vegetable bed. I had planted some radishes and some lettuces, and right before we were leaving, the radishes were already bolting. We did get a few and they were good, but no, I can't really make sense of what's what in here anymore. So I've got to come through and do something with this. At the very least, get it to a point where I could put something new in. No, carrot. We have a carrot. This tomato seems okay. I honestly forgot. Either I didn't put a cage around this tomato or it is a volunteer tomato plant. Either way, I'm not mad at it. I'm gonna leave it. But, you know, I've got some other plants coming up here. Looks like maybe start some jewelweed, which is lovely, but I don't really want it growing near my tomato plant. So, just gonna rip some of this stuff out. This bed of chamomile is pretty bad. You can see I'm starting to get some of the first blooms, but let's take a look. Yep, you can see like some grass growing in there. So I need to come in and clean that up. I have to show you some of the pretty stuff too. After assessing the jungle growth, I would say my three main priorities, there's much more to do than that, but like I said, I'm really going to focus on what is most crucial. I would say one is cleaning up the southern border of my garden where it's blocking all the sunlight coming in. I also want to get that vegetable patch cleaned up. And then finally, I really want to take really good care of that chamomile because I would like to do another harvest of chamomile flowers because we enjoyed it for teas and all of the members of our family can drink it. Now the first task was cleaning up the southern border of my garden, as I mentioned, and because there's nothing planted directly in front of the fence, I didn't feel like I needed to take everything down to the ground, although that would be nice ideally just looks wise. If I had more time I would have done that. But since I'm running on limited time, I just took it down far enough so that it wouldn't block the sunlight from hitting the garden beds that are located about a foot or two in back of that fence. So that's what I was doing here, and as you can see, yes, I am pregnant with our second child. At the time of filming this video, I'm about 28 weeks. I'm pretty grateful that I still feel pretty good, so I'm just trying to get things done while I can. Now it was on to the second task, which was the vegetable patch. So I just had to kind of come in here. There was no quick way or easy way to do this. You just kind of have to go through, and I didn't even use gloves because it kind of requires some micro level work. So I just used my fingers to pluck out some individual plants to make room for some of like the carrots and the lettuces that I had planted in there earlier. I wouldn't call the end result spectacular, but it definitely looked a lot better and it allowed for other things to grow. Cleaning up my chamomile bed was very similar to the last task in that, again, it was just a bunch of like plucking here and there, taking out mostly grass that was growing, and again, just trying to make room for the chamomile to thrive. Well, I hope some of the things in this video have helped you get through a rough patch in your garden, whether you're currently experiencing one or you have in the past. But these are things that have been working for me. So as always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all again soon.